Good morning, I'm Matt Scooby. This is CTV News Channel. Thanks for being with us. We start with U.S. President Donald Trump abruptly terminating all trade negotiations with Canada over an anti-tariff ad paid for by the province of Ontario. It's been airing on most major networks in the United States. Here is a bit of that ad.
High tariffs inevitably lead to retaliation by foreign countries and the triggering of fierce trade wars.
The Ontario government paid $75 million for the ad that features the voice of former U.S. President Ronald Reagan from a radio address back in May of 1987. And earlier this morning, Trump posting once again about the ad, doubling down in a way, saying Canada got, quote, cheated and got caught. Trump goes on to claim that Canada fraudulently said that Ronald Reagan did not like tariffs, which Trump claims he loved, even also claiming that Canada was trying to illegally influence the upcoming Supreme Court ruling on Trump's tariffs as well.
Donald Trump has just pulled the plug on all trade negotiations with Canada. And the reason? Not a policy dispute, not a diplomatic crisis, but a single ad. An ad produced by Ontario's government, one that dared to challenge Trump's reckless tariffs. An ad that used Ronald Reagan's own words, reminding Americans that free trade was once an American legacy, until Trump decided to rewrite history. Now Trump insists Reagan was never against tariffs. But that's not just wrong. It's a calculated lie meant to save face after being publicly embarrassed by Canada. And once again, Prime Minister Mark Carney is standing firm, refusing to bow to Trump's intimidation and calling out this absurd distortion of history in his own subtle, powerful way. And here's where Trump's bluff truly collapses. He claimed Ronald Reagan supported tariffs, that the conservative icon shared his protectionist mindset. But the tape tells a different story. Reagan's 1987 address, still available today, shows him warning Americans that tariffs are, quote, a hidden tax on the consumer. That's not interpretation, that's Reagan, on camera, saying exactly the opposite of what Trump preaches today. So when Trump tried to rewrite history to justify his trade war, he wasn't defending Reagan. He was erasing him. And that's why Ontario's ad hit such a nerve. It didn't attack Trump with opinions. It defeated him with Reagan's own words. It reminded the world that facts have memory. And Trump just got caught lying to one of history's most loyal witnesses.
So, look, if you're to take his social media posts over the past 12 hours or so at face value, this move to terminate the negotiations is all about the ad. You got to keep in mind now that his posts about the ad are littered with falsehoods. He calls it fraudulent for saying that Ronald Reagan did not like tariffs, that he actually loved tariffs. He calls it fake in all caps, even though the ad uses Reagan's own words from a radio address. And Trump repeatedly attributes the ad to Canada rather than Ontario. But hey, in Donald Trump's history of saying things that aren't true, that's probably pretty small potatoes. Still, he did specifically say that what he called Canada's egregious behavior is why he was terminating the talks.
Let's be clear. This move from Trump isn't about trade. It's about pride. For weeks, he's faced criticism in Washington for losing leverage over Canada. His threats failed. His tariffs backfired. And every time he tried to corner Mark Carney, Canada only grew stronger. When Ontario ran that anti-tariff ad in the U.S., it wasn't an attack. It was a message. It told Americans the truth. Their president refuses to admit that tariffs are taxes on their own economy. By targeting Canada, Trump hurt American jobs, raised prices, and destroyed cross-border trust that took decades to build. So when Trump ended the talks, it wasn't Canada that lost. It was Trump conceding, quietly, that his bullying no longer works north of the border. Interview 3.
Something slightly different here coming from Kevin Hassett. He's the director of Trump's National Economic Council, a very senior advisor to the president. He was speaking to reporters outside the White House this morning, and he was asked why the trade talks with Canada were called off. He said that Trump is frustrated with Canada and that it's not just about the ad. Take a listen.
I think the frustration has built up over time. I've been involved in some of these negotiations, and the Canadians have been very difficult to negotiate with. And you look at all the countries around the world that we've made deals with, and the fact that we're now negotiating with Mexico separately reveals that it's not just about one ad, that there's frustration that's built up.
Hours after Trump's announcement, Mark Carney delivered a line that sent ripples through diplomatic circles. Without naming Trump, He said, "The 1980s were a different time. U.S. trade policy used to reflect shared prosperity." That single sentence was enough, because everyone knew exactly who he was talking about. It was Carney's calm way of saying, "You can twist history all you want, but Canada remembers. Reagan built bridges. Trump burns them." And with that, Carney made it clear, Canada will never again build its future around an unpredictable neighbor who weaponizes trade for politics.
We can't control the trade policy of the United States. We recognize that that policy has fundamentally changed from the policy in the 1980s, 1990s, 2000s. And it's a situation where the United States has tariffs against every one of their trading partners to different degrees. And it's in that context that our officials, my colleagues, have been working with their American colleagues on detailed, constructive negotiations, discussions on specific transactions, specific sectors, steel, aluminum, and energy. And a lot of progress has been made.
Carney's message couldn't be clearer. Canada isn't here to play second fiddle in someone else's campaign theater. Not to Trump, not to his Commerce Secretary, and not to anyone who thinks they can dictate Canada's economic destiny. Under Carney's leadership, Canada has diversified its trade like never before, building stronger ties with Europe, India, Japan, and now China. All expanding, all thriving. So if Trump wants to walk away from trade talks, fine. Canada will keep walking toward partners who believe in fairness, not threats. While Trump's inner circle scrambles to spin this as a bold move, it's actually the clearest sign of weakness. He's not walking away from Canada, he's walking away from defeat. Trump may have left the table, but Canada hasn't. Carney's calm, fact-based leadership keeps proving that strength isn't about shouting louder, it's about standing taller. And as Trump's falsehoods collapse under the weight of real history, Canada's position only grows stronger. Tens of thousands of people who care about truth, reason, and Canada's place in the world. Thank you for standing with us, for watching, for commenting, and for sharing. It truly means the world. If you're new here, join the conversation, hit subscribe, and be part of a community that believes Canada deserves its voice on the world stage.